Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the no. Here comes the oh. Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the no. Here comes the oh. Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the no. Here comes the oh. Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the no. Here comes the oh. Here comes the y'all don't really.
Blackjack.
Yo.
How you feeling today, man?
I'm great. A little tired coming from practice.
How was practice?
It was good. It was good. Real competitive, as it always is.
So what's your real name?
Jayden Bonsu.
I wondered what was wrong with me.
Running. I leave by my cars. Running.
How your home front is, like your background as far as the family oriented, mom, Luke's, pop, Luke's?
My parents, Brittany and Jason, helped me with a lot. Love them the most. Without them, wouldn't be. I don't know where I would be.
Keep it a buck. We here in the studio.
A lot of these offers don't be that real, so it's not committable.
That feel like when everybody's getting their turn and it's not yours yet.
What they call you?
Godfather of New Jersey.
You powerful man. I ain't gonna brag, but that's what they said. I ain't say that.
Welcome to my home.
She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian. Push a P, I'm push a P. I'm capital P, I write the president, count presidents. Push a P. Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P. She let me squeeze and she leave, cause she keep a P. Private suite, privacy, I'm pushing P. Purple paint, pink, push a P. Push a P, I'm push a P. Push a P, I'm push a P. Yeah. Push a P, I'm push a P. Push a P, I'm push a P. Yeah. I pop a P, I'm paranoid. I can't sleep with pockets deep. Got rest on me, why they watching me? I'm push a P, I'm push a P. Push a P, I'm push a P.
Keep it a buck. We here, man. Fresh after the announcement, Jayden Bonsu chose to go to Ohio State. So you committed to Ohio State. They obviously did a great job recruiting. What does Ohio State think they're getting in you? What are you bringing to Ohio State?
On the field wise, they're getting a very versatile player that's very flexible, could play all three safety spots. I just feel like I fit the system very well. They run a lot of defensive schemes that you run at prep actually, and I'm very familiar with. So that's another reason why it made sense. What they're getting out of me off the field as a leader, very positive in the locker room, very positive in general. Like, I help out a lot. I was just talking about that, like, because I know where I was at before, and I know kids who look up to me or kids who want to be like me. Like, I want to help. Like, so I have a very helping manner, like in practice or off the field. Anything you want to talk about, I can talk. Like, I'm just a helping hand for my teammates. So that's what it is.
Respect. So what was it about at Ohio State? Like, you went there and everything?
To be real with you, it was Coach Eliano. Coach Eliano, the DB coach, he came from Cincinnati. He's just a real dude, like real thorough. You could tell, like his demeanor, his voice, the way he look at you, the way he talk. Like, Coach Eliano, he a real dude. Like, he'll text me like, "Happy birthday." He texted me, "Happy birthday to your sister." I'm like,
oh, that's hard.
I'm like,
that's smart. That's good.
Okay, so it's Ohio State. You chose Ohio State. We got Jordan Fuller was there as a safety, Jersey guy. Ronnie Hickman is tearing it up, Jersey guy.
You got some St. Peter's prep guys there too, though, right?
Not a DB. Did they use that as a selling point, or did that have anything to do with your decision that you felt comfortable there in the sense of you can get a fair shot? Like, what went into this decision?
Yeah, they would say Jersey kids came through Ohio State, did great, but for me, it was just like, that's BIA, that's best in America. They got the DBs to show for it in the league in general. Like, ain't nobody doing it like Ohio State, DB wise. Like, you could pull up the numbers, all of that. I believe they second in most draft picks. Alabama may be number one, but they second in most draft picks. But mostly what it came down to for me, my decision point was the relationships I have with the coaches. And I feel like that's what most kids should be like really basing their commitments on, is relationships and how they feel about the school, because nowadays NIL stuff, like, kids will be committed just for that, and that ain't really what you should be doing, because at the end of the day you still got to step foot on that field and play for that coach.
Who recruited you? Was it only a position coach? Was it the D coordinator? Was it the head coach? Who recruited you?
Everybody.
Okay.
I was getting texts from the offensive coaches.
Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about that, and that's important, that a lot of kids don't know, is because if you don't get, the more people you get recruited by, the more people invested in you and seeing that you succeed. You know, I don't care how good you are. If only one of the coaches is recruiting you, then especially if it's not the head coach, because at the end of the day, he has final say, they'll play games with you. They can play a lot of games with you. And this is what happens when kids choose to go to schools that they dreamed of going to, but that school is not really that invested in you. You have to go to a school where everybody's on board recruiting you. Because what happens is you can come in and you'll be better than another kid that came in, but they're invested in that kid, and you don't even get a shot. They won't let you get on the field or nothing. And as long as that kid, even though you're better than him, as long as that kid is good enough to where nobody's wondering why he's out there, it could be the portal for you, bro, if you're not mentally tough. So I'm glad that you chose a school that loved you. Who actually, did anybody tell you that during your recruiting process?
Actually, no. But picking up, like, once you actually inside the recruiting process, I picked that up easy. I could tell the difference. Like, when I was getting offers back to back to back, it would be certain schools who got the whole staff recruit me. It'd be schools who got one dude recruit me, and I could tell the difference. Like, oh, okay, they really love me, versus, oh, okay, they just, like,
they'll take it.
They different. Like, they had 3 first-round receivers and 1 wide receiver room. Like, Ohio State is different. It's just different. I'm a versatile player. They say, like, I could play anything. It ain't really just one spot. But Coach Eliano, it's a spot on the defense called Bandit. I believe Rocket played that.
Yeah, because it seemed like Rocket plays like a hybrid DB linebacker.
Yeah, I go down to the box and play deep. I could do whatever. So.
Do you feel comfortable with out in space covering like that?
Yeah, I've gotten way better. Like, when I first got to prep, like, being a DB in the big north, like, nickel, you basically on the island just like a corner. You just in a slot. So you gotta have a lot of confidence and patience in that slot. And I learned that, like, game by game. What I got, Coach Nas do a great job teaching us that as well. Like, patience and confidence. So that's just what you need as a DB. So we got better at that. But now, yeah, I'm locked in.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm watching you look real comfortable out there. Your speed of the game, it's like you ready for this, man. If anybody I could say that's ready for it is you.
Michael Ransom. Instagram is Top Flight Michael. Also Top Flight Legacy on Instagram. We have a full service luxury car transportation. We have SUVs, Cadillacs, Yukon Denali's. We have the luxury Sprinters. And we also have the access to the party buses. Anytime, any place, any people want to go, give us a call, give us a shout, and we'll take care of you. We hop in the vehicle in a moment's notice and travel up and down, but we actually take trips out, you know, out a little further, wherever people want to go. Like I said, I always say, if it was a bridge in Hawaii, we would drive you there too. You know what I'm saying? We got a full team ready to assist you in whatever you need.
This is a beautiful time, as stressful as it can be picking a school. What was it like just traveling all over the country, just seeing people that really want your son's services, man? Like, what was that like for a father? And again, you had to cut your dream short.
Exactly.
So you get to kind of live this vicariously. So what was this like?
I mean, it was breathtaking, man. I mean, like the first 2 or 3 visits, because you know after a while you get used to it, and then it's like, all right, it's business now. You know what I'm saying? But like I believe the first visit was Penn State.
So we talked about your visit to Penn State being his first visit. Did you guys drove out there?
Yeah. We took a ride, me and his mom.
So what's that trip like when you going back home after seeing all that? Your first visit, the love
James Franklin.
Yeah, what's that ride home like?
I mean, it's a lot of hype that you got to deal with. When I say hype, I mean as far as like they put you on cloud 9 when you on these campuses. You know, like everything is just so superficial. You know what I'm saying, in a sense. And like I said, it was my first visit, so for me and for him, you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So it was just my mind was blown away as far as the levels and the things that they were saying about him, the things that they knew that I didn't even know that they knew about him. Like they really dug deep into like a lot of his background and his childhood, and you know, they spoke about a lot of things that occurred. Like we did an FBU tournament in South Carolina, like 11th grade. And he said, oh, we heard about you when you was in 6th grade, you did the FBU tournament, something that I never even spoke about, you know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show, like, you never know who's watching and when they gonna start watching you, you know what I'm saying? So that just blew me away. And then everything, you know, everything was just, they had everything down to a T as far as celebrations and confetti, and like everything was just like, it was a party, you know what I'm saying? So that was real dope to see and experience.
So we all sit here as fathers, right? And I think we have that moment, like when your child's a baby, you watch them sleep, you see their whole life, right? See them get married, see them everything. You saw this? Did you see this when he was a baby?
I mean, I don't want to say I saw it. I just knew the work that we put in, and I expected it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I was just saying, it's like, when you involved in something, you don't have time to recollect and think about where we came from, because you have a goal and you just staying focused and zoned in on that. So like even now it's real hectic right now. So I haven't had the time to sit back and think like, damn, after he commit, what's going to be a reaction? It's like, I'm still planning, I'm still here, I'm still training. I got a 11-year-old that I'm trying to get to the same type of situation, you know what I'm saying? So my world is constantly moving. So, you know, I haven't had that chance to sit back because, you know, it ain't over yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still a lot more to still take care of, and they adding on different aspects to the whole college game. So, you know, it's just a lot to take in and a lot to cipher through, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just taking it one day at a time as of right now, you know.
Did you see defense for him? Because obviously we talked earlier with your son, and we talked about how good he was as an offensive player. So you know how offense, when playing Little League, is like touchdown, touchdown. Was you infatuated with that? Like,
I was, until it got to a point his last year in Pop Warner. And I seen like he had a hip injury where it didn't allow him to sprint fully. So for him, well, actually his mom was telling him like, yo, just take a year off because you're not who you usually are used to being. And he was like, well, I can't run full speed, but I could find something else that I could do to help the team. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, it was heartbreaking for him to leave running back alone. It was like, I could find something else on defense to do. And he still wasn't 100%, but he was enough to give the team something. You know what I'm saying? So after that year, I started noticing the change in him. Like, nah, I don't need to play running back. I could find, like, he found another love for the game that he just seen himself. And then he started talking about how the running back in the NFL, like their time duration, the span is not long, and he want to play the game for he want to play the game for a long time and things like that. So that let me know he not only was thinking about, you know, right now, he was thinking about the future. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, this is something he definitely want. You know what I'm saying? So that was big for me, just knowing like he's considering other avenues. You know what I'm saying? Rather than what he's used to. You know, so that was a dope experience and a great situation.
Who's one of the guys like out there that you look at and say, damn, my son remind me of him right there that's playing now?
As of right now, a kid that's playing now?
Like in the pros or college.
Oh, okay. I would have to say probably somebody like an Ed Reed.
Okay.
Mostly because there's no flamboyantness to him. It's just all business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about the score. I'm here to dominate. I'm here to handle business. Y'all can celebrate. I'm here to handle my business. You know what I'm saying? And his demeanor on the field, off the field, is always the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the team could make a big play and he going to grab his helmet to get ready for the next series while everybody else is celebrating on the sideline. He's just always been even killed. So that's been a good trait of his in this game because there's a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows in this game. So that's a great trait for him to obtain.
So he chose Ohio State, obviously. At any point, did you guys have did you have a dream school for him?
I didn't have a dream school. I just know what I wanted out of a program. You know what I'm saying? When I say what I wanted, like this situation has never been for me, but I've always gave him all the tools to make the right choice. So I did all the homework. I brought him all the information. I did the research, and whether it been the NIL, whether it be the changing of the coaching staff, whether it been the kids on the roster, like I broke everything down to him and allowed him to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? And whatever his choice would have been, I would have had to been okay with that because this is something that he got to live through. You know, like I'm just gonna be there to cheer you on. This, you got to live there. You got to deal with the teammates, the atmosphere, the school. Like this is something that you got to deal with. So I'm gonna lay everything out on the table for you. You just pick up what you like. You know what I'm saying? And even up until 2 weeks ago, it was still changes. Like it's always changes. Something is always changing. So I'll pick the phone up or I'll send him a text or an article or something like, yo, read this. What you think about it? Like not even letting him know what I think about it. I just want to know what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So I've always led this situation, like let him choose, but I'm gonna feed you the information.
So basically, you know, gave him the information to make an informed decision.
Exactly.
Whatever decision you gotta live with it, but you want to be informed.
Exactly.
At the horseshoe out here at Ohio State, man. Like for me, and you know, being a dad and you a coach, and then you a dad and you coach youth football and you coach them as a little kid, but now to be able to walk in that horseshoe. Your son earning the Buckeyes. I think they got their own little tradition of they get the black jersey or whatever.
Yeah, you take
the black stripe. The black stripe. Yes. But that's dope to me. And me personally, I look forward to seeing Blackjack play like that. You know, like I can't sit and watch a college football game if I don't know the person playing. If I don't know nobody playing, I can't even watch a pro or.
What you did 20 years ago.
Back in the day, I could, because I wasn't what I'm doing now. So now, if you look, we got a bunch of Brick City kids.
So here's the thing that's crazy too. I asked him, was he going to the first game? So I didn't even think about what he said. Adam, who he played with in Pop Warner, played with at DePaul, would be Notre Dame. He would be Ohio State. But what's even crazier than that game has 13 kids from the Big North playing in it. So when you talk about, you know, not being comfortable if you don't know nobody out there, that Big Ten Jersey is living through the Big Ten.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely, that's big.
Yeah, it's huge, man. So I was wondering how much of a role did that play in him choosing the school, because like you can go, I know like Miami was one of the ones that felt like they had a real chance at getting them, and you know if they invested, right? But you know you can go down to Florida, which is a huge football state. And You know, they got to take care of the St. Thomas Aquinas kids, the Miami Northwestern kids, the Miami Central kids, blah, blah, blah. So if one of them is just as good, I'm going to be better, just as good, you know, I think it's safe when you go, you know, Big Ten, Ohio State, because we are there.
Exactly.
And we've done well.
Yes.
You know, so did that play any part in that decision?
Yeah, so if I could elaborate on that a little bit, I would probably say, like, Miami was leading the show for a really long time. Like, they was leading the show for a really long time. Like, and I don't know if you remember, I just recently said, like, up until 2 weeks, a lot of things was changing. Like, and that's what changed, you know what I'm saying? Like, Miami had everything going for him, but I think they got something about, like, 6 to 8 guys at his position that are like sophomores, so they'll still be there while he get there, and like 5 or 6 of them are from the Miami area. So it's like you really up against a lot when you face in that situation, in that scenario, you know what I'm saying? Regardless what they tell you or what they don't tell you, you just gotta take the sheets off and just realize, like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You gotta put yourself in their shoes. They got a lot of kids that from the area that they gotta invest in and do. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, granted, I know he has an exceptional talent, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gotta take care of home first. Just like, well, how Rucker should be doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've been doing it of late. And it's showing, like, it's showing that you starting to get a lot of kids that want to go to Rutgers now because they see it happening in our backyard. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just something that you have to equate, like, you have to involve that aspect into it. So, you know, that was a big decision and changing and making things about Ohio State.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Sean Stives. I'm one of the massage therapists here at Test Sports Clubs. I've been here for a little over a year now. I've been absolutely loving it. What first got me into like the massage game, so I've been a strength coach since 2015, and I was looking at what's better ways to help my people be able to do all the different things they want to do, right? You want to squat heavy, bench heavy, push, but if the mechanics are off or something's a little bit off, it puts a wrench in the system. I said, all right, let's be the massage therapist, let's be the movement guy, and I started to specialize myself that way. So when I do tissue treatment, manual therapy, massage, whatever, I always go in for that eye of how is this productive? How does this fit into the person's training protocol? And what's the fastest way to get them off my table, feeling good, and getting back out on the field, in the gym, doing whatever it is they want to do.
Fortunate enough, it seems like we find ourselves here a lot with you, Nas, man, where it's like those kids are your kids, on your babies. So like, how'd you get introduced to Jayden Bonsu?
So this like we go back. Obviously, believe it or not, it was the first year that Brick City was formed. And he had to be about seven, because he was younger than the other kids. He was always younger than the other kids. And one day I stopped by Green Acres. So behind, it's a field there. And I watched him work out with his dad, him and another dude, my man who played basketball named Elijah, Money. So they was working out. And I saw both of them, and then they was both with their dad. Both of their dads are trainers. So his father was his big Bonsu. Jay Bonsu was like, nah, we you know, he was one of those, can't do it. You know what I'm saying? We want to play y'all, like, let's set it up, this, that. He was really aggressive. His dad really, like, if you see him, a big guy, and he talking at you, like, yo, what's up? We play y'all. So I'm like, oh, hold your horses. So long story short, at the end of that year, we ended up playing, which the game is on YouTube now, and you can watch it. Bonsu, 21, on the other team. He's playing against all our big name guys, the oldies, the Reeks, Whiteheads, you name them, go on. That's who he was going against. He was going against the group. And I'm telling you, he was the youngest one on the field, and he was just running up and down the field, I'm like, wow, this kid is special. So fast forward that, I think I tried to get him at the end of that year, and they was in budget. So he ended up playing junior Pee Wee. You had to be like 9 years old playing junior Pee Wee or something, right?
Yeah.
So see, my memory good. So he's about 9 years old, and I'm like, look, man. I was talking to the dad again, like, come on, man, please, like, just come on, bring him over. He's a good kid. Let's do it like this. And then I think at 10, he made the move to Brick City. And he came to Brick City and he played. A lot of people don't know, like, I tell people all the time, shout out to him doing his thing on the defense, but he was a running back out this world, you know what I'm saying? That was crazy. So me, my own selfishness, I wish I could have got to see him play running back at a high school level, you know what I'm saying? Because he was just that good of a football player.
All right. So you spoke with your father, you know, he was talking about the journey, bringing you up since 5 years old, putting that ball in your hand. Did you ever think that you'd be where you at right now, choosing to play at Ohio State?
Yes, sir. As a kid, like, I always looked up to those type of dudes. Daphne Thomas at Oregon, those are my favorite schools. Ohio State, Bama, you know, everybody want to go to Bama when you were a kid. So as a kid, like, that's all I ever wanted. Be in this position and out here. It's crazy.
All right, so you sound confident, so I'm going to take you back.
Yeah.
Did you always feel that way? Did you start to question would it ever happen?
Oh, yeah, like, when you
I know there was a bumpy part.
Yeah, when you were a kid growing, when you, like, at Brick City, like, I was doing my thing, like, it was cool because I'm playing against kids, like, we kids. When you get to the high school level, it's different though. And like, and for all the kids watching, I'll say, like, when you at that high school level, things change and you got dreams and aspirations, like, never give up. Because once you give up, you don't got a chance. If you keep going, you always got a chance. So just keep your head down and keep pushing because everybody go through adversity.
Yeah.
So speaking of adversity, let me just ask you. So I know you played at DePaul as a freshman.
Let me take you further back, though. I got to take you further back. So prior to his high school thing, 8th grade, he was playing in Florida, national championship team. So I got to talk about this because it was unbelievable. He was playing against a team from Miami. It was whatever the feeder team is to Luke's high school team that he coached, Uncle Luke's high school team. Edison, whatever the Miami team is. And they had a receiver. I don't know his name, but wherever he at, I know he high-level Division I too.
He committed to Indiana.
See? I don't even know, but I know how this go. He was guarding the best wide receiver at the tournament, by far. And the kid must have did a go route and went. And Bonsu went right with him. But the kid had like a lead on him. When I tell you Bonsu gave his whole body for that pass and deflected that, but the way he came down, he broke something with
Humors.
So he broke his arm. What is it called again?
Humors.
His humors. Yeah. So I didn't even know that was a part of a body. But he broke that, and to see him make that play stretch out, that was one of the biggest plays I've ever seen, like from a player to give his body for his team. So to watch him do that, and then I think his dad wasn't there, but somebody was there with you.
Yeah, my grandmother came. Yeah, she brought me to the hospital. I remember that.
So what was going through your head at that time? What was your feeling about that? Like,
well, when I first fell, like, my arm was shaking, and Coach come up the sideline like, "Yo, you good? You good? You good?" I'm like, "Coach, my arm's shaking." Like, so I'm walking up to the sideline, tearing up, and then all I could think about was like, "Dang, like, I can't get back in. We in Florida. I want to play." But once I felt like I tried to move my shoulder a little bit, like it wasn't going. I'm like, "Yeah, I can't. Like, it's over." And I see my grandmother come over, and then we just dipped, went to the hospital.
So at that time, once everything you get cleared, and it's like, all right, you ready back for action. What was your mindset then? Because we get into what you was talking about.
How old are you? Yeah.
So how old was you then at that time? About 14, 13?
I'll say 14.
All right. So now you getting ready for high school. You healed up. Obviously, you training. Who was you training with at that time? Was your dad training you or?
After I broke my arm?
Yeah.
I remember I was at ETS a lot.
Okay.
OTT.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my dad, we always work out, but those are the main things.
Gotcha. So now it's time to become to pick high schools. What was going through your mind there? Like, what was some of your choices? Like, what was your 2 choices or your 3 choices that you had?
It was DePaul or Peters, to be honest.
Okay.
But with Peters, with these private schools, you got tuition, then you got other things that determine what school you go to. But the best option at that point was DePaul for me. But yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, so you played freshman year at DePaul. I mean, you look at what they have, and you have 2 of the top kids in the state right now as defensive backs. Was there, you and Adon Shula.
Yeah.
And neither one of you are there now.
Yeah.
All right, so what happened? What was that experience like?
Vance Matthews, been with Test Sports Club for 6 years. One of the senior performance coaches, working with the combine staff, everything football related. A couple of our alumni, Joe Flacco, obviously one of the greats. So this is our all-time leaderboard for combine and pro day. So we've had a ton of success here in the past, and looking to keep knocking guys off the list as guys get faster and guys get better. So this is our field house. This is where all the training goes down for the most part. This turf in particular, we've had 200 plus guys sign NFL pro contracts in the game of football. A lot of facilities that just have turf strips. We have 60 yards by 25 yards of field space to be able to run more than just 40s, more than just 5-10-5s. We've held full positional sessions in here with throwing, catching, the ability to run full routes. DBs can get work in here. So we don't need a field particularly. We just make sure this field's open and we can get to work.
Everybody asks what happened. I have a lot of conversations about this. Like, now I start looking at this, like, you got 2 kids, how do you let go of them 2 kids? Like, look where they at now. And it's just like, everything happened for a reason, I feel like, and every situation ain't the best for, like, we 2 different kids. Making that decision as a freshman, kids transfer out of schools all the time for different reasons. I know the Don's situation is different, I won't speak about that as personal.
Yeah.
My situation too is personal, so I won't speak too much about it, but like, all I can say is like,
what you did to play, like, was you there as an offensive football player? Because, like, remember you left youth football, you was a big time running back. So did you go there to be a running back? Was that on your mind?
I was just being an athlete.
Okay.
And like, for me, when I was at DePaul, I got bumped up to varsity so quick.
Oh, so how many freshman games you play?
0.
Oh, okay.
That's what I told you.
0. Well, I think it may have been 1. I don't really remember, but it was 0. I was just practicing with varsity, getting rushed with varsity. So I would play a varsity game, then I'll go Monday play JV game, but I wasn't playing no freshman. Yeah.
Okay, so now that you're there, so did you stop playing on the offensive side, or was you playing safety there?
Yeah, because since I got bumped up, safety was just a position of need at the time. So Coach Shee was a defensive coach.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, Blackjack, like, this is varsity now, you're not just going to hop in. Like, running back at varsity different.
Yeah.
So safety was just a more suitable position for me. I was young and it was something I could learn, like, adding a tool to my game. So that's the position she put me in.
So now you come into that role, the season end, and now you like, where you at mentally now? Like, where was you at in that year in 9th grade? Just put us there, because we know a lot was going on. We had COVID. We had a bunch of stuff that hit.
After the season?
In 9th grade, your freshman year.
After the season, my mindset, well, yeah, after the season I transferred out. I went back to my hometown because like I just needed a different school to go to because.
But could you let them know, not to cut you off, I know you about to, before you get to the hillside, because I just want the world to know, we walked through Pope John one time.
Yeah, we
did. He definitely came through Pope.
Yeah.
And then you went to Hillside?
Then he went to Hillside.
Yeah. Well, Pope John, I was there for a visit, like to see how it was and stuff like that. And then the end of the year, DePaul won a state chip the other year, I believe, 2019. But the end of the year, we won, went back to Hillside, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, that was it.
COVID hit, and all I can remember is like before like we even played any games when I was at Hillside, like I would be dealing with like little stuff like leg injuries or like my hip injury or whatever. And since it was a short season, like I wasn't really able to play for real.
So you never really played with them?
No, I didn't play a snap at Hillside.
I'm gonna tell you this straight up. I told Coach Carson at Paul John, I said, listen, if he get the Hillside, it's over. You can cancel Christmas, and that's my word. I said if he don't do this right now and he go to Hillside, it's over. But I felt that once you got the Hillside, Coach Grant wasn't gonna like throw you on the chokehold.
Nah, like, when I got to Hillside, I was going there with the aspects of like I got a ball, like, cause Hillside is different from these top schools. Like you gotta be a crazy player to be noticed by the D1 schools. Like Nari Biggins came through Hillside.
He a dog.
Yeah, he a dog. He at Central Michigan right now doing his thing. But like, so
he had to bust his behind to get this.
Bro, he played quarter. He was like a Jabril for them. Like it ain't too many Jabrils like you get. So then I wasn't able to play that much at Hillside. Boom, that's my sophomore season gone. So now I'm thinking like I gotta go somewhere where I can get on the field fast at the highest level.
So that was always your mentality though?
Yeah, playing at the highest level. Only reason I went back home because COVID and like I just needed somewhere to be. So I'm like, I gotta get somewhere. And then Peters came up.
Yeah.
My dad was contacting Coach Keith, Coach Henson, Coach Nas, all of them. They started getting in contact. And then I remember taking my visit to the school, the academic side and the athletic side, just getting oriented with everything. And then it just worked out.
Was it like an instant move, or was it took a time or a process for the Peters to go through?
It took a process, but yeah, it took a process. It's a big difference coming from a public school to a private school. So in my mind, I'm like, it's them uncomfortable feelings you get. Like you gotta be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like
that's what growth is.
You know it's right, but it's uncomfortable. So I have to like just get through that. I'm like, yeah, Jay, you gotta go here, bro. Like Hillside, it's cool, your friends there, everybody there, but you gotta go here to do what's best for you. My dad would always say stuff like that, like, don't follow the crowd, you got your own path, and just follow that.
And that's huge that you have a father to tell you that, because you don't know how many kids I want to play with my friends, and they'll rock in a situation where nobody gonna see you, bro. You know you gonna, but your friends. So you gotta do what's best for you. But you know, in a sense of like, did you expect what happened to happen in 1 year to go from like nobody? Like, let's just keep it real. Like, who was Jayden Bonsu?
That's what I wanted.
Every school in the country offering you.
To be honest, I didn't have like, I wasn't even focused on the offers. Like, I was just focused on solidifying myself in the Big North, to be real with you. So I would take it one game at a time. Like, hey, Coach Nas, Coach Oliver, he would always say like, first 0 to 5 star kid from Jersey. First 0 to 5 star kid from Jersey. I'm like, yeah, Coach, yeah. It sound good.
Like prior to anything happening.
It sound good, but Coach Nas seen it. Like, he seen it. My focus, my demeanor, my size, all that, he seen it. And then I just took it game by game. I remember my second game, played West Orange. I balled out. And the Maryland coach seen me. He was there watching. And he was like, who that kid, 21? Because after the game, you know, our quarterback committed to Maryland, Champ Long. He was talking to Champ about me, like, who that kid, 21? He a baller, seen him going from slot to safety, man-to-man zone, doing all of that. And then I remember a few days later, Coach Nas called me, like, Coach Baker want to talk to you. And I'm on the phone with Coach Baker. He talking, you know what I'm saying, what he like about my game, like, about the offer at the University of Maryland. I'm like, what, yo?
You caught your pops?
My dad was right there.
What was that moment like?
It was just crazy. Cause I got siblings, they all loud, so it's time to quiet down, quiet down. mother in the kitchen cooking, and I'm just listening. And he like, you got off in the Maryland. I had to mute it real quick. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But man, once I heard that, I'm like,
turn up.
It's go time. Like you made the right decision. Ball in your hand, ball in your court now. So do what you gotta do. Stay focused.
I want to know what it was like coming from like how you went from DePaul and then you had to sort of stand at Hillside, but when you got the prep, right, and you finally was in there and it's like, all right, it's our first day of practice. I'm out here with the team. Like that's what I wanted to, what was going through your mind on that day? Like what was that?
I mean, a lot of the prep kids from Brick City, so it wasn't like too much of a difference. Like coach, like kids wise, like I rock with them, Zion. I rock with Zion, Champ. A lot of them kids.
Yeah.
They cool kids. First day, I remember first day, July 9th. I know the date, but we was in weight room. I'm just doing what I gotta do in weight room, making my relationships, talking to Coach Hanson. It was just a normal day at that point, but I mean, yeah, first day I just felt like I had to make a name for myself, stand out. I was doing extra stuff. So Coach Hanson could see like I ain't playing. I'm coming for a spot on the defense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you get the Maryland offer. I remember the West Orange game. You were still learning the defense. When did it click? When did you feel like, all right, I'm here now?
That I know the defense?
Yeah, like to where you was moving now instead of thinking, you started reading.
I would say by the time we played DePaul.
What was that like for you?
Playing
that
DePaul
guy. You gotta feel something.
I feel like I had to get my lick back. That's what I felt like. I had a chip on my shoulder. Me and Don.
And that was a dog fight.
Me and Don had a chip on our shoulder. He played DePaul too, which was actually that game was fun, but we had a chip on our like the day before, like that whole week leading up, studying film. We had a safeties coach, Coach Clark. He with the Ravens now for a job. Like he would draw up the plays, give us tendencies, percentages of what they do. And I remember this exact play where number 2 will line up a little bit outside the hash, he off. If you're outside the hash and you're off, you're running a slant. And I would study like stuff like that. And I seen it in the game one time. A kid, Marshawn, ran a slant. And I was just sitting on it. I knew the play. Because I was studying the film. I'm studying I'm like, I can't get nothing caught on me this game. Like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And then he ran that play. PBU, easy.
So now I'm hearing you're a student of the game.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did you know that Jones was gonna run that play you picked off at the beginning? Because you was on that really fast too.
Oh, the pick 6?
Yeah.
I just knew what the defense how the defense was supposed to play out. I didn't really know the play, but I knew it was one receiver outside of me, and I announced the guard inside. So I'm like, let me just play the end route from the outside receiver and loop. He ain't see me, I guess, because they offensive line big or whatever. He ain't see me, so I reached my hand out, grabbed it, touchdown.
So when you go on these visits, they make you work on the chalkboard?
No, they don't make you write nothing out, but they teach you just to see if you understand the game. If you're a student, they really evaluate that.
So I want to take it back. How'd you get the name Blackjack?
So when I was a kid, I always wore number 21. And every time I touched the ball, I would score. And my dad and my uncle was just like, I need a nickname, something catchy, So my dad and my uncle always played cards. They was big cards, played cards a lot. And it was just how about Blackjack? You were 21, and we played that game all the time, so it just connected. And it stuck with me since then. So that's how I got the name. And I remember my uncle, once he got that nickname, made my highlight tape. It's on YouTube right now. You can look up Jayden Bonsu Blackjack, it'll pop up.
From when you was a kid?
Yeah, playing I was with Jackie Robinson back then. That's when he first gave it to me. So yeah, that's how I got it.
He kicking on us on that.
Yeah.
I call him Blackjack more than I call him his real name. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. Like if I was to do what I did back then today, I'd be viral. I'd be viral.
We're gonna take a break. Keep it a buck.
So I'm Tony, and I will be open 6 years. My studio is called True Definition, and we used to be a different spot in the building. We just moved into this spot in January. We have the guys come in for their combine training. We do once to twice, sometimes 3 times a week, where the guys come in and they do maybe half hour on the machines, half hour on the aerials. Then I also teach them some mat yoga upstairs in the field house. And that's how the relationship started. So I've had a lot of professional athletes come through. Probably one of my first ones was Antonio Cromartie, and we have Tim Boyle, who is on the Detroit Lions, and we have Mike Dunn from Cleveland, and so many other guys too that come through, guys that are up and coming. We get to watch them go through the draft, and it is super rewarding, and they all come out of it with the same attitude. They're so happy. It's their favorite time in the week because they get to stretch, do some meditation even, relaxation, mobility, and all the deep inner core work. Basically, I am like a puzzle piecer, so that's what I kind of consider it, right? I fill in the gaps. So whatever they're not getting in any of their other training, I provide for them. So if they need more deep inner core work, you can do a total body workout on these machines and be completely challenged, but they might not need that. So then I fill in the gaps for what they need. We have an Instagram, and it's true, TRUE _definition, DEFINITION _ again, and NJ. So True Definition New Jersey, that's our Instagram. And from there we have a link tree, and it will give you all the links for the rest of our social media. And my website, if you want to check out more details, is true-definition.com.
And my last question, I just wanted to ask him, how do you manage football in school? Because we know that you know, you're doing your thing in the classroom as well. What's your GPA like?
3.5. I always.
That's
you know, I'm gonna keep it real. Like sometimes during the season, it get tough. They get tough. Like you got on Friday night games. You gotta get on the bus 30 minutes after school. Going like, and it's tough. It's tough sometimes. Like you gotta really lock in mentally though. If you really want something, you're gonna do it. That's what my mother said. Like, because at the end of the day, without them academics, you're not touching the field at all. So keep the main thing, and do what you gotta do.
I also want to tell you that football is a very small part of your life. Like if you're lucky, you have a 10-year career, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. You figure you're 28, you're 30, and you're retired, right? At 30 years old, you got another at least 45 more years of living to do. And a lot of people get lost in that because that's all they know. So like, don't make it an empty trip. You know, when you go to school, you take that serious, because too many of our kids go there and take null and void degrees and then come home and it was an empty trip. You ain't get nothing out of it, you know.
This commercial break is sponsored by Keep It A Buck Clothing. Stay true to yourself and what you wear. Keep it a buck.
Some people think what I do is easy, but they wrong. I'ma keep it a buck with you. I'm a different breed.
Come back. Oh, move. Come on, work. Good.
Stay true to yourself and what you wear. Keep it a buck. Yes, sir.
Hey man, I say this, you had a great, university, what I'm saying? So with the backing from you and the family, and then seeing the way he spoke and with his head at, he looked like he on his way already.
Yeah.
So seeing that, I know he already in good hands. You know what I mean? I feel like he got everything what it takes to make it. So congrats to you, you know, moms.
Thanks.
And you got a little one coming up, little Cam. You know what I'm saying? So, and I see him now. And it's different because when Bonsu was little, he was stressing the point by running that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then with Lil Man, he ain't stressing that point no more.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just trying to allow him to find himself in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, this game is not for everybody. It's a lot that goes into it. A lot of like mental toughness. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm dealing with that right now with the kids on cam level. It's like they have so much potential and so much talent, but they not mentally tough. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have the heart and the, you know what I mean? Like just that mental toughness that it takes to play this game. You know what I'm saying?
Mental toughness it's a muscle.
Exactly.
You gotta work it, right?
Yeah.
Like some kids, very few. Some are born with it, but very few, right? You build that through adversity.
Yes, experience.
And,
yeah.
You know, each time you take it a little better. So when you're saying at 11, and that message is being preached at 11, they'll get it. They'll have it before they leave the program.
Absolutely,
that's right. But on that note, man, we come to a close with our guy Jay Bonsu. Like I said, stay true to yourself and what you wear. Keep it a buck.
My parents, Brittany and Jason, helped me with a lot. Love them the most. Without them, wouldn't be. I don't know where I would be, but I love my parents the most to keep me on track.
Good to hear. So you seem like a good, oriented, family-oriented kid, man. That's a plus, man. That's what's needed. You know, that support system. A lot of us don't have that support system.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, man. So that's important, man.